All right, guys, I'm just gonna wait till more people show up. I'm gonna go through mostly the Instagram questions today because some of them were very good and some of them were very stupid. So I need to address both the good ones and the stupid ones. So if you have a question, you can put it here. But I'm gonna go through mostly the Instagram ones. Let's people show up. Actually, you know what else we do? Let me put this on Instagram Live. Bear with me. Listen, guys, get in here. I want your questions answered. Get in here because I don't do this. I don't do this for any other reason other than trying to help. I made a multi-million-dollar deal on my supplements this week. I don't need to be doing this. All right, I do this to help you guys. So, if you want your questions answered, come on in. If not, suck them down. That's what you do. All right, let's see. I'm going to try something new. I'm going to put on Instagram Live. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Thoughts on diet soda and neck treating? Kind of a broad range of topic there. Diet soda is fine. Just drink things without calories in it. Like it's not. I mean, I wouldn't recommend drinking something with artificial sweetener daily. I'll probably have some kind of side effect down the road, but it's diet soda isn't going to make you fat. There's nothing in it. I think a lot of people are under the impression they got so obsessed with this insulin nonsense that I think. People got so obsessed with this insulin nonsense that they think diet soda is going to make them gain weight, but it's not. All right, how do I do this? Let's go. All right. Blocked from sharing my video. Posting your account has recently been removed from the community guidelines. Like what? Okay. Well, they won't let me go live on Instagram because apparently I say things they don't like. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Well, can't go live. It's been blocked. All right. So I'm going to go through the Instagram questions. you guys haven't already gotten the, actually, let me do what I need for Facebook. See if they want to do that. If you guys have not already, got the home workouts right here. I'm doing a TRX program too. But I don't know, guys. Grab it while you can, because I don't know how much of this stuff I'm going to be doing anymore after making my supplement company deal. I'm probably doing not too much of this at all. So get in here while you can. See if they block you. You can't turn your phone while recording. Hmm? All right. My mic is old. I'm sure that's a little bit. Hold on. I don't know why the mic is. All right. All right, so let's do these. Okay. Is time static contraction better than doing the normal range of motion, or are they equally effective? Well, they're equally effective. As long as they generate metabolic stress and mechanical tension, they're going to turn on the particular receptors involved with stimulating muscle hypertrophy. It doesn't matter how you do it. Most of the reason we even use range of motion, you don't need range of motion for hypertrophy. Whoever believes that does not understand physiology of hypertrophy. The reason you use range of motion is because there are specific neural adaptations to strength training. So for some people, if you're not using range of motion, your body will have a harder time expressing its strength through the entire range of motion, because you lack the neural adaptation that you would get from using range of motion. Does that make sense? So you don't necessarily need any range of motion at all for hypertrophy. And there's even been recent research, biceps hypertrophy, that showed that very, very little range of motion is needed for optimal hypertrophy. So the only reason I recommend time static contraction is because a lot of people don't have access to very good equipment. So yeah, time static contraction is good for at-home workouts and stuff like that. But if you have decent equipment, you can use that too. The results are going to be exactly the same. But if you did, if you only did a time static contraction workout with no range of motion, you would lack the neural adaptations that you would get from range of motion, and you may not be able to express your strength as well throughout different joint angles. Do you do any rotator cuff? Do you do any rotator cuff exercises or dynamic stretching warm-up for a routine? All right, so you don't want to do dynamic stretching. You don't want to do any stretching. you might want to do a dynamic warm-up, which I would recommend is just doing a couple of exercises with 50% of your working load to just kind of put your body through the range of motion in order to, they're kind of like practice swings, really. There isn't too much physiological benefit to doing any warm-up before a workout, but there is benefit to doing a warm-up before a competition. So people are so confused that they think a workout and a competition, such as a powerlifting meet or a track event or something, are the same thing. They're not. You'll want to do a warm-up before competition, or such as a basketball game, a football game, a powerlifting game, an Olympic lifting game. But you don't really need to do them before a workout, because as long as your rep cadence is controlled and your range of motion is safe, and you're not using loads which you cannot handle, and you're not using too much momentum, the warm-up is going to be built into your routine. You don't need to do a separate thing to warm up your body. Traditionally, usually what I do, I just do one easy set, probably 50% of my working load. Just one set of just a few controlled repetitions, 50% of my working load on only the first exercise, which is usually with an upper body routine. That's usually a pull down or a chest press. And with the lower body routine, it's usually a leg press or a squat. So that's my warm up, just one easy set, 50% of working load. So I recommend you that. Rotator cuff exercises, other than no, you don't need them. So, yeah, I saw a woman in the gym yesterday holding dumbbells and doing this, thinking that was working her rotator cuff. Meanwhile, okay, so this is not a fucking rotator cuff exercise. Holding a weight like this and doing external and internal rotation. Do you want to know why? Because the resistance is being placed down this way. And you have to place resistance this way into the rotator. You have to place resistance this way and this way in order to recruit the goddamn rotator cuff. So holding a dumbbell like this and doing this is not doing shit for your rotator cuff. Keep that in mind. But again, what is the rotator cuff involved with? Internal and external rotation, mostly. So if you're doing a chest press, internal rotation. If you're doing a row, external rotation. They're involved in those exercises. So there's no need to do any additional rotator cuff training. Maybe for rehabilitative reasons, maybe. But I'm not a physical therapist, so they can handle that. Other voodoo witchcraft. But no, you're not going to need. No. All right. Are carbs really necessary post-workout? Okay. Well, where did you hear that? And just say, are carbs necessary post-workout? Not, are carbs really necessary post-workout? As if that's like, no. No, carbs are not necessary post-workout. Carbs are not necessary at all for survival. Your body makes glucose out of other substrate, out of protein. Carbs get converted into glucose in the bloodstream, and glucose is used by your muscles and other things to create ATP to do it. So your body does not need carbs to do this. Your body will make its own glucose if it needs to. Carbs are not necessary for anything. Carbs can be helpful for building the biggest, largest muscles, considering you're not obese, because carbs are probably going to make it harder for you to lose fat. Carbs are helpful for athletes because they need full glycogen stores in order to make energy very quickly in order to perform well. But carbs are not necessary. But they can be helpful and useful depending on your situation. If you are a fat ass, if you are 300 pounds, 5'8", cutting your carbs out is a good idea because it's going to cut out a huge percentage of your daily calorie intake, which can result in weight loss. But there's nothing particularly bad or special about carbs. Personally, me, I'm 210, 215 pounds. I eat a lot of carbs because my muscles are huge. And your muscles are like 15% to 20% muscle glycogen. So if I didn't eat a lot of carbs, my muscles would appear 15 to 20% smaller. So keeping the glycogen stores filled will result in bigger muscles. But if your goal is weight loss, you probably want to go easy on carbs. Okay, if you check Dr. John Jaquish, third most recent Insta post, he says our variable resistance is better than free weights in link studies too. Okay. Yeah, I agree. That's why I use Nautilus machines, because it provides variable resistance. Here's the thing. Dr. John Jaquish is a fraud. He's a complete scam artist. Don't listen to a goddamn thing he says. He's not a real doctor. He got his doctorate from a diploma mill in the Cayman Islands. Okay? But you didn't know that. He did. So he's not a doctor. He bought a doctorate degree. And he's a scam artist and he uses that doctor to push stupid shit like his X3 bar, which is simply a $600 to $800 set of, it's a fucking rubber band and a metal pole. Ridiculous. Variable resistance is more efficient than exercises which don't vary the resistance, but you will not see a difference in muscle growth or strength between the two. That's going to be determined by your intensity of effort, your recovery, your diet, and your genetics. So I don't care which study you post. You guys need to remember, studies can also be funded by companies who want to show a particular outcome to sell a particular product. So I would not doubt if John Jaquish or any other supplement company do this all the time, they fund research to show a particular outcome to support their product, to sell the product. Okay? Not all research is valid, good research. You need to look at who's funding the research, who's doing the research, and see what kind of other vested interests they have. Just because something has research doesn't mean it's valid. Do you get any massage or body work done on yourself? No, I don't want a stranger touching me. Is the mic still good? For all I know, it's probably the stupid. Yep. How's that? Oh, man. The mic should be a lot better. I don't know why it was switched over to the laptop mic. Okay, I got this question earlier today. I have no idea what a SARM is. If you can give me like some information, I have no clue what the heck that is. So give me, I don't know, maybe if you can give me a little bit of information on it. Really have no desire to look up SARMs. Do you think you could be an IFBB pro if you took steroids? 100%. I would yes. My genetics and my training with the right drugs would make me an IFBB pro. Yes, because I have extremely good muscle belly length, proportions, slim waist, wide shoulders. Yes, I would be an IFBB pro if I took steroids. But why the fuck would I want to be an IFBB pro? It is like the most meaningless accomplishment to me on the planet. It's pointless. So you're going to destroy your body with tons of steroids to get on stage and win a plastic trophy? No, I'm not doing that. Okay.
Let's see. You mind going over the anabolic window and when it's better to eat protein? Yes. This is like a lot of the reason I wanted to do this live stream actually to explain this. Okay. The anabolic window in layman's terms is the period of time after a training stimulus that protein synthesis is upregulated, meaning it is a period of time which the body more optimally uses amino acids to build new tissue, essentially. So the supplement companies, the lying bastards that they are, convince people that you had a 30-minute window to where protein synthesis was upregulated. And if you didn't get your protein within 30 minutes, you just wasted your workout. Well, tons and tons of research, specifically research by Dr. Andy Galpin, you should look him up, have found that the anabolic window is actually between 72 and 96 hours. That's 3 to 4 days after training. So basically it comes down to do your workout and eat adequate protein. But you should be eating adequate protein all the time. You shouldn't wait until you work out and then start eating adequate protein. You should be eating about 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight if you're relatively lean. If you're overweight and obese, you want to eat 0.8 grams to 1 gram of protein per target body weight. For instance, if you're 260 pounds and you want to be 180 pounds, you want to eat between 150 and 180 grams of protein per day. Okay. So another question was, somebody asked me about eating 200 grams of protein split between 2 meals. There seems to be this weird belief that your body doesn't absorb protein over a certain amount per meal. This is wrong, and it's mostly due to the stupid, idiotic terminology because people don't like to pay attention to terminology and definitions. Okay. Your body will absorb all the protein. Whether it uses it or not is a different story. There is a limit to how much protein per meal is useful to muscle growth and repair. There's 2 different scenarios. Just, if you're within this anabolic window anyway, but protein itself also stimulates, protein itself, the amino acids actually stimulate an upregulation of protein synthesis. Not as much as obviously training would, but so there is a limit to how much protein per meal is beneficial for muscle growth. And it depends tremendously on your lean body mass. So if you are 300 pounds and 60% fat, it's going to be different than if you're 185 pounds and 9% body fat. Okay. The more muscle you have, the more protein will be useful to you per meal. The less muscle you have, the less. So it could be anywhere between 20 grams and 60 grams of protein per meal. But since we don't know exactly, like some idiot said, well, it's 25 grams per meal. There's no fixed number. It depends on the individual. So the more muscular you are, the more will be beneficial for you per meal. Okay. But it's better, rather than trying to find the exact number, because you never will, just take your daily protein requirement, which again is going to be, 0.8 grams to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of lean body mass, and just split it up between 4 and 5 meals. Super, super easy to do. That's breakfast, lunch, dinner, and 2 protein shakes. All right. So, is there going to be a huge difference in your physique if you eat 2 meals a day and get all your protein in versus 5? No, because you're going to have modest results regardless of what you do anyway. But you're better off breaking up your protein intake throughout the day. Best exercises to get a wider midsection. This is entirely genetic, dude. This is going to be the size of your waist and your rib cage. There are no exercises to change the size of your pelvic bone structure and your rib cage. Do you recommend lunges, split squats using HIIT? All right, remember that high intensity training is just a set of principles. You can do it with any exercise in the world. You can do it with a sack of goddamn potatoes. It doesn't matter. You just want to move slowly with slow changes in direction to reduce momentum and train to failure. That's pretty much all high intensity training is. You can do it with any exercise you want. I get all these resistance bands questions because people have been so indoctrinated into using resistance bands that a lot of people ask me, can you use resistance bands with this approach? Yeah, you can use anything. You can use it. You can go outside and find a big log and use that. It doesn't matter. The whole point of the exercise or the equipment or whatever is to accelerate the rate of fatigue. Like, for instance, if I wanted to recruit and stimulate my biceps muscle, I could just bend my arm 10,000 times. It might eventually get tired, and it might generate enough metabolic stress and mechanical tension to stimulate growth. But to speed the process up, I just put a 20-pound dumbbell in my hand. And now I don't have to do 10,000 elbow flexion. I can just do 10. That's the purpose of the weight. All right. Thoughts on weighted stretch for hypertrophy? Well, they found through research that, so think about, what is a stretch? A stretch is tension, right? It is mechanical tension. So one of the stimulants for muscle growth is mechanical tension. So yeah, stretching will stimulate the mechanoreceptors and possibly stimulate the mTOR pathway and stimulate muscle growth, but likely only for an extremely deconditioned individual. You do not want to do weighted stretch in place of resistance training, because the resistance does what? Provides tension, which provides mechanical tension, which stimulates mechanoreceptors, which stimulates muscle growth. But also, it's going to be very tough to get a lot of metabolic stress out of a weighted stretch. So the two primary things that stimulate muscle hypertrophy is mechanical tension and metabolic stress. While weighted stretching will stimulate the mechanoreceptors and stimulate mechanical tension, you're not getting any metabolic stress. Resistance training, with resistance, is going to stimulate metabolic stress and mechanical tension. So you're going to get a better stimulus. There is no point at all ever to do a weighted stretch in addition to resistance training. That is a complete waste of time. Because if you did resistance training and you stimulated the mechanoreceptors and stimulated the mTOR pathway, doing a weighted stretch afterwards is not going to stimulate those mechanoreceptors again. This is why additional sets, if you do the first set properly, this is why additional sets are pointless. Because when you turn on the mechanoreceptors and when you turn on the particular metabolic receptors, which stimulate or turn on the genes to turn on the mTOR pathway, you can't turn those receptors on again. It's like doing this. It's like turning this light on and then turning the thing a bunch more times to turn the light on more. I already turned the light on. Turning the handle a bunch of times is not going to turn on the light anymore. Just like doing a bunch of additional sets are not going to turn on the mechanoreceptors or the metabolic receptors anymore. If you stimulate them and turn them on with one properly done set, you cannot turn them on again. And this is what a lot of stupid, fitness gurus do not understand. They don't even know what a fucking mechanoreceptor is. But another good analogy Mike Mentzer used to use, I think it was Mike Mentzer, doing another set after doing the first one with a sufficient set duration sufficient intensity and preferably to failure, doing another set like that is no different than going up to an elevator, pushing the button for your floor, and then pushing it a bunch more times, thinking that the elevator is going to get there any faster. You already pushed the button. You just wait for it to do what it's going to do. So if you're doing a bunch of additional sets to failure, it's literally no different than pushing the elevator button 1,000 times, expecting the elevator to move any quicker. Literally the same thing. So weighted stretch, in addition to resistance training, absolutely pointless, and probably just going to develop more wear and tear. Do you think bench press is bad for your shoulders? Depends on how you do it. No, I don't think it's bad for your shoulders if you're using an adequate load and adequate range of motion and not coming way down and bouncing it off your chest. Probably not bad for your shoulders, but anecdotally, when I was like 22 years old, I was getting a lot of shoulder pain, but I was like doing sets of 315 on the bench press, like sets of 8 and shit. And that killed my shoulders. And ever since, I have not done bench press ever since, and my shoulders have felt great. So I want to recommend it. I mean, it's not a terrible exercise, but there are so many exercises that are just as effective, if not more effective, and safer than the bench press for your chest. Like a chest fly machine or a chest press machine or even a push-up. A push-up is, a properly done push-up is probably more effective than a bench press for your chest. And all the fitness retards will probably say, "Are you kidding me? The bench press is way more effective for your chest." Well, yeah, the way you do a damn push-up, a bench press is more effective. But if you do a push-up properly, it's probably more effective than a bench press for your chest and a heck of a lot safer. But, anything, if you're choosing an exercise for the chest, you got to remember the main function of the pecs is humeral adduction, meaning it takes your hand from out here, your arm from out here, your humerus, to in here. Okay? So which exercises do that? A converging chest press, that like the MedX comes from out here to in here, adducts the humerus, and a chest fly machine adducts the humerus. Those are pretty much the two best exercises. I'm doing HIIT and able to work out back to back. I'm sure I'm training with sufficient intensity. Should I rest anyway? Well, here's a couple things. You're probably not training with sufficient intensity. You just think you are, or you have a ton of slow twitch muscle. So there's some evidence you could turn fast twitch muscle into slow twitch muscle, but you cannot turn slow twitch into fast twitch. So unfortunately, I would bet that you're very thin and lean and kind of lanky. Those kinds of people probably can tolerate back-to-back workouts because they have a lot of slow twitch motor units. I would rest anyway. Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, what is one day of rest? Is it going to kill you? Like, don't you have other shit to do? Yeah, but even if you do have a ton of slow twitch muscle, if you're able to tolerate working out back to back, you didn't train very hard. You got to train harder. Do things like drop sets and rest pause and all that. Make it harder. Yeah, I guess my phone is sideways. I don't know. Hold on, maybe if I do this. No. Yeah, it's telling me I need to, but I can't because the mic. Actually, hold on a second. I can do this. Let's see if this works. All right. Wes Watson. I don't know who Wes Watson is. There are so many fitness people out there that if you ask me a question about them, I probably don't even know who they are. I don't pay attention to the morons. I'm sorry. I pay attention to the people who are providing valuable information, not people who have a cameraman following them in the gym for stupid reasons. Okay. I've gone over this a lot. Guys, keep in mind, if you're a new follower, go through my content, okay? Because most of these questions have been answered several other times, but I will answer this. But don't just, please, just don't just like hop on the live stream and ask me things I've answered a million times. Take some time, take some responsibility, put in some effort, go through some of my content. It's all right there for free. Like, I don't do this for money. Opinion on free weights versus machines. I know machines allow for more tension on the muscle. False. You want to hit, but free weights hit stabilizer muscles as well. False. Everything you said is wrong, okay, unfortunately. And it's not your fault. It's just the fact that you've been indoctrinated with bullshit throughout the fitness industry, okay? Machines do not allow for more tension on the muscles. Machines may provide more continuous tension on the muscles, but not more tension, which can be beneficial for generating more metabolic stress. But if you were to take two individuals, one uses free weights and one uses machines, the outcome, as long as each individual was training with adequate intensity, with appropriate volume and frequency that they could recover from and adapt to, resting well, eating well, etc., there would be no difference in appearance between an individual who used machines or an individual who used free weights. It's the same damn thing. Machines are generally safer. They're more time efficient. And if you're using a free weight the way most people traditionally use them, which is like shit, then machines can be more effective. But if you do a free weight exercise properly and you do a machine exercise properly, they're both going to have the same benefit. Free weights do not hit stabilizer muscles. This is a stupid, stupid, stupid myth. There is no such thing as a muscle which merely stabilizes as its function. Stabilization is a role a muscle can play. For instance, I hold my arm out. My medial delt is stabilizing my arm. But you don't call my deltoid a stabilizer muscle, do you? Here's another really good example. Pay attention, people. When I am standing up and doing a barbell curl, my glute muscles are keeping my body erect and stabilizing. So when I'm doing a standing curl, my glutes are acting as a stabilizer. Do you call the glutes a stabilizer muscle? No, you don't. Stabilizer muscles is another stupid buzzword the fitness industry came up with that has no meaning. Pay attention, okay? Everybody pay attention to this statement. Just because a muscle is involved in a particular movement or exercise does not mean it is effectively worked or stimulated. Okay? So, just because some muscle groups are acting as stabilizers with free weight exercises does not mean those muscles are effectively worked and stimulated. This is just all mythological bullshit that people who do not understand exercise come up with. The whole stabilizer muscle thing is just a bunch of wannabe personal trainers and wannabe fitness influencers regurgitating bullshit that they heard on Instagram. All right. I get this question a lot, and I guess I'll answer it again. What would happen if you trained 1 to 2 muscle groups per day with HIIT instead of doing a upper lower body split? Is it enough rest? It's enough rest, but if you're only doing 1 to 2 muscle groups per day, you're not generating a lot of overall stress and overall metabolic stress. So part of the stimulus, again, is metabolic stress and depletion of your body's recovery resources. And if you're only training 2 muscle groups, you're not going to be generating a lot of metabolic stress, and you're not going to be depleting a lot of the body's recovery resources. You're also not going to be heavily involving the cardiovascular system. So you're not going to have barely any cardiovascular stimulation. So do not do 1 to 2 muscle groups per day. That's dumb. I know you guys are obsessed with going to the gym every day, but get a hobby instead. It is far more effective to do an upper-lower split than to just do 1 or 2 muscle groups per day. Because if you're only doing 1 or 2 muscle groups per day, you are lacking in the overall stimulus. You're lacking in metabolic stress. You're lacking in cardiovascular stress. You're lacking in depletion of the body's recovery resources. The stimulus is going to be way, way worse if you do just 1 to 2 muscle groups per day. The only reason I would recommend such a brief workout is for somebody who is experienced, heavily muscled, and lots of fast twitch muscle, and able to generate a ridiculous amount of fatigue per set. Most of you cannot do that. So most of you will have no reason to do a workout that is that abbreviated. Even me, my workouts are like, my upper body workout is like 6 exercises. My lower body is 4. And I die with 6 exercises. And even I have no business doing a workout that is so abbreviated it only involves 2 exercises. All right, so don't do that. Does HIIT make your tendons stronger? Yes. So when you aggressively fatigue a muscle, the muscle releases cytokines called myokines. Myokines signal to the bone and connective tissue to become stronger. This only happens, they used to think this was the result of simply placing stress on the bone through load, but we found that it's actually through myokines. So any aggressive muscular fatigue will stimulate an improvement in bone and connective tissue strength. But you want to choose an approach that doesn't develop wear and tear in the joint and connective tissue during the process, such as doing a zillion reps or doing HIIT cycling or something like that. That may generate enough metabolic stress or enough fatigue to stimulate improvements in bone and connective tissue strength, but you're literally wearing those particular joints out in the process, so it's counterproductive. But the long answer to your short question is yes, it does. Oh my God. So guys, please, no really stupid questions. I know not everybody's intelligent, and I don't mean to be a dick, but don't say dumb shit. All right. If protein synthesis is elevated for up to, I'm not saying this is a dumb question. This is fine. If protein synthesis is elevated for up to 72 hours, wouldn't you benefit from training a muscle group more frequently? I think you mean if you're still sore from and after that time frame, you are still building muscle. No, soreness has nothing to do with whether or not you're building muscle. The fact that protein synthesis is elevated for up to 72 hours means you can benefit from less frequency. That's the point. The point is you don't need to be constantly training to elevate protein synthesis. And remember, protein intake, eating protein also elevates protein synthesis. There's very, very few reasons why training more frequently would be more beneficial, because think about it, your muscles build and grow while you're resting, not while you're training. So while you're training, you need to remember, exercise is a negative stress on your body. It is a bad thing for your body. Initially, the wear and tear, the depletion of the body's recovery resources, the stress on the cardiovascular system, the stress on the nervous system, the metabolic stress, These are all bad things for your body. These are not good things. The stimulus which they provide, granted your body makes the adaptation after this negative event, which is exercise, is the good thing. But the exercise itself does not provide anything beneficial or anything positive at all, other than maybe upregulation of certain neurotransmitters like dopamine or whatever. Physically, exercise doesn't do anything positive. Exercise is a negative event on your body. It is catabolic. It is stressful. It is damaging. So in no case would more frequency make sense. Why would more of a stressful event result in a better adaptation? That makes no sense. That is why you want, all right, pay attention here because you guys need to understand this shit. Most people are trying to find a way to train the most frequently. What you should be doing is trying to find a way to train with the least frequency, not the most. You guys are obsessed with trying to get as many workouts in per week, thinking erroneously that that is going to get you a better result or to your result faster. It's not at all. Therefore, you want to choose a workout which provides the best benefit with the least amount of time involvement and frequency, because exercise is a negative event on your body. It is stressful. If you work out too hard too often, you literally will get sick. Don't believe me? Go try it. So you do not want to find ways to increase training frequency. Guys, I'm 215 pounds with no fat. I train every fourth day. If more frequency was better, then why would what I do work? When I was training with more frequency, I was 192 pounds. Granted, that was like 6 years ago, but still, more frequency is not better. Should I eat anything specific for joints, ligaments, and tendons? No, not really. You don't build muscle after 48. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Of course, you can build muscle over 48. Just not as well. Why do you people say shit like this? Like, according to what? Don't just make a... People are weird. Don't just make a statement. How fast does your average client see results? Results in terms of what? They will see immediate strength increases, immediate reduction of joint pain. How often does it take for a particular client to lose weight? Well, about 1 to 2 pounds per week is healthy. So if you're a 180-pound woman and you can lose about 8 pounds per month, in about 6 months, you will be at a healthy body weight. But that's all got to do with diet. There's no like average results. Like, I don't know why people listen. If you guys are in bad shape and you want to get in good shape, forget about trying to find the fastest way to do it. You just need to be patient. Unfortunately, you're not entitled to immediate gratification. So, this is why a lot of people fail exercise too. They're like entitled to getting ripped in 90 days. No, you're not. It's not up to you. It's up to your body. You spent several years make yourself fat. Well, guess what? Now you're going to have to spend some time taking it off. You're not going to get it in 6 weeks. Is it normal if my joints crack or feel about? Yes, that's normal. It's called crepitus. It's normal. It's just genetic. It's completely fine. I had one client who, on the leg extension, it sounded like you're like wringing out bubble wrap. It was hilarious. As long as there's no pain, you're fine. Some people are just like that. Is lat pull down as efficient for muscle growth as lat pullovers? It's probably a little less efficient, but it's going to be just as effective. I prefer the lat. Well, no, I use both. I'm not going to lie. One workout, I'll use a pullover. The next, I'll do a pull down. Why the hell not? This is a good question. You said the difference between training 3 times versus 2 times a week is very minimal. But how notable is the difference between training muscles once a week versus twice a week? Well, with adequate intensity, meaning if you're training really hard and generating a lot of metabolic stress, a lot of mechanical tension, and a lot of just overall stress on your body, 1 workout a week versus 2 workouts per week is not much different. And it would make YouTube fitness gurus' head fucking explode if they heard me say that, because they have no idea what they're talking about. Because you got to imagine 1 workout per week done the way most people do them, which is not even a workout. It's basically just moving around in the gym and staring in the mirror. If you did that once per week, no, you're not going to see any results, obviously. So when people hear of like 1 workout per week or 2 workouts per week, they're thinking about the way they work out, and they think to themselves, there's no way that could work. Well, yeah, not the way you do it, but if you train the way I show you to, 1 or 2 workouts a week is going to be way more effective than your 6 bullshit workouts per week using a resistance band for a glute kickback. So with that said, the people who study training intensely with adequate volume found that the difference between once and twice per week isn't huge, especially. So we need to look at this too. Most of you are going to be modest responders to resistance training, meaning you're not going to grow huge muscles. And if you're a woman, you're not going to look like fucking Megan Fox, no matter what you do, whether it's 1, 2, or 3 workouts per week. So considering that most of you have average genetics and will only experience modest results anyway, adding a 2nd or 3rd workout per week is not going to make a difference to the naked eye, because no matter what you do, you're just going to get modest results anyway. So I don't know. I've gone times where I did once a week, twice a week. I prefer to do 2. But if your schedule only permits you to do 1 per week, fine. You're not going to, I mean, with your average genetics, you're not going to notice the difference anyway. You guys need to remember, you keep comparing what I'm recommending to what bodybuilders do. Forget what bodybuilders do. You're not a bodybuilder, and you never will be. You don't have the genetics, and you're likely not taking 3 to 4 grams of testosterone per week to be one. Bodybuilders are a completely different situation. Bodybuilders will grow muscle way faster than any of you. Maybe not any faster than me, but they will grow muscle faster than any of you. Bodybuilders are also taking a ton of drugs, which allow them to grow muscle faster and recover more quickly. The reason bodybuilders can even do these long marathon workouts and train every day is because they're taking 3 to 4 grams of steroids per week to allow them to do that. You're not that. So following what a bodybuilder does, who has an extremely enhanced ability to recover from workouts and anti-catabolism, they're literally constantly in anabolic state, and they have ridiculous genetics to top it off. You can't follow what a bodybuilder does. Would a bodybuilder actually, yeah, I think most bodybuilders would have the same, if not a better physique, if they trained just twice per week. But if they were going to compete and be judged in a competition based on their proportion, their muscle size, symmetry, muscularity, leanness, I wouldn't have him training once a week. But again, it's different scenario. I don't know why I went on that rant, but I'd probably dump a girl for something this little too. Let's see. Okay. Is the amount of pull-ups a person can do a good strength health measurement? No, because limb length, neurological efficiency, body weight, muscle and tendon insertions, those all have to do with your ability to perform a pull-up. I guess, I mean, yeah, some people at my weight, I can do, 8 to 10 strict pull-ups, maybe 15 fast ones. But if I were 180 pounds, I'd probably do like 40. So no, it's not a really good measure. Reverse grip dumbbell press or triceps press. Good enough for triceps. Oh, all right. Well, here's the thing. Every elbow extension movement, like if you're doing a press movement, whether it's overhead, straight, dip, whatever, any pressing movement involves elbow extension. The triceps' primary function is elbow extension. So you're working the triceps with all those movements. Do you need an additional triceps movement? I mean, if you're an average Joe with average genetics and not a professional bodybuilder, probably not. Would a professional bodybuilder need additional triceps movements for optimum symmetry? Probably. But again, most people are not going to have the muscularity, the muscle size, or the definition to even see a difference if they were to add an additional triceps movement or whatever. So with that said, if you're doing 2 pressing movements, you probably don't need a triceps movement because you would probably never notice a difference. Is dairy not being great for you fake news, or is it somewhat true? I mean, it's kind of true. Well, you got to think it's lactose, which is a form of sugar. Generally, a lot of people become lactose intolerant. If you're putting cheese on stuff, you're probably fine. If you're putting, a little bit of cream in your coffee, you're probably fine. I mean, it's probably not great for most people to drink, glasses of milk every day or ice cream or stuff like that. It's not going to kill you. Again, you got to remember, like, people come up with shit to put on. People come up with things like, "Oh, dairy's bad for you." They just want views and attention to sell you shit from their sponsors. So you guys got to remember, a lot of things you see on TV and YouTube and whatever, it's mostly to grab your attention so they could sell you something from their sponsors usually. So. What hit workout? Here we go. Why do I feel so damn hungry after every hit workout? Is it the intensity? Well, it's mostly because you stimulated. If you feel really hungry after a workout, especially the day after the workout, that means you did a good job. And it means eat. It means eat a lot of protein. Being hungry post-workout is a good sign. Very good sign. Eat protein. Honestly, I'm not too hungry right after the workout, but the next day, the next afternoon and evening, the day following, I go crazy. Saw your post yesterday, The Rock 2024. Listen, if The Rock becomes president, then I'm just moving to the fucking woods and throwing my cell phone in the garbage and disconnecting from the world for 4 years. I don't want to see The Rock be president. The Rock is he's a successful actor, but he's kind of a chode. Like, he's just, I don't know. He knows what he's doing. It's a character. Like, his whole personality is a character, and he's just fucking making millions off of you people liking him. Maybe he's a nice guy in person, but The Rock's character, the way he acts, I don't like it. I think he's gay. Yeah. Okay. Is recovery linear for each individual? Pretty much. Well, not linear, but your recovery is fixed for the most part. I feel like I need more days to recover sometimes, then take them. Also, I've been doing HIIT for about a year, and I feel like with my time, my body needs more days to recover. Yes, this is true. It doesn't need more days to recover. You probably need to reduce your volume with each workout. This is normal. I used to be able to do, tons of exercises per workout. And now I can only really tolerate no more than 6, and I'm dead. Because the longer you train, the better you get at recruiting and stimulating muscle, which means the more stress and fatigue you generate. And if you're adding muscle, that's more tissue that's being stressed and fatigued. Well, the overall stress is going to increase, but your ability to recover from that stress is fixed. So most of the time, you just want to reduce volume. Person effectively do HIIT without burn? All right. So can a person effectively do this without proper training, like a professional trainer? Yeah, of course you can. The thing is, you'll notice the first few months or so, your workouts probably aren't going to be that great. It depends. I mean, there's a lot of variability, but you pretty much have to do it on your own, most of you, because there aren't a lot of studios around that will instruct this. If there is a good studio around that instructs this, I would recommend at least for like a year going to them and really getting a hang of it. And then you could probably branch off on your own, but you're never going to get as effective of a workout training on your own as you will with an instructor. So even the other week, me and Elliot Holmes were training together, and just adding him to the equation. I mean, he wasn't necessarily training me or instructing me or whatever. Just adding him to the equation made my workout way better, way better. So even a training partner is probably good. And you got to imagine, I've been doing this alone forever. So just adding Elliot there, like way better, because I'm not going to let him quit. He's not going to let me quit. So we pushed hard. So just, even just a training partner is good. You don't necessarily need a trainer. If you are new to this and there is a high intensity training studio near you, absolutely go. Find a way to afford it and go, because they're going to teach you how to do this properly. And then, over time, you might be able to do it on your own. Some people just can't do it on their own, but you might be able to. Your workouts are not going to be as effective, though. Not that they're not going to be effective. They are, but they're not going to be as effective unless you are compared to being supervised by a good instructor. Yeah. So, Elliot said, wouldn't be able to train to failure without you. Would have given up. That's the addition of the trainer thing. Even for a seasoned, strength coach is Elliot. He's been doing this shit way longer than me. Adding that trainer component makes a huge difference. I mean, again, I'm one of the best, but still, even if you just add another set of eyes there, it helps. Would it be impossible for so since it was almost impossible for a fitness influencer, would it be impossible for the common human? What impossible? What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about. Upper chest is starting to pull my shoulder forward. Oh, okay. I have an overpowered, I think you mean overdeveloped upper chest, and it's starting to pull my shoulders forward. That is, What is that called? Anterior. No, it's like anterior internal rotation. I don't know. What muscles pull the shoulders back and what exercises? A horizontal row. So do a rowing, just incorporate a horizontal row. And then over time, they will pull themselves together. Horizontal row, chest up, shoulders back and down. Don't do your row like this, like the idiots do. Chest up, shoulders back and down. Bring the handles into under your chest. Hold and pause. That is going to work the muscles which externally rotate the shoulder, the rear delt. I think the triceps do a little bit of it, rotator cuff, and it will eventually, or the trapezius will eventually pull them back. That's easy to fix. Just do the same volume and frequency with all the exercises. You don't need to do any more to, get that internal rotation fixed. Yeah. All right. Can't take creatine due to hair loss. Am I missing out on much? Nah. Just eat some red meat. You'll be fine. Okay. This is actually funny. I have a story about this. I was always good at arm wrestling, and I would beat people who appeared significantly stronger than me since I was young. What's the explanation of this? Where your biceps tendon is located on your forearm. That's one of them. Number two is body proportions, your limb length. You probably had a relatively short forearm compared to your humerus, which allows for longer forearm, shorter humerus. Whatever it is, your body proportions, the length of your forearm versus the length of your humerus, were ideal for arm wrestling. This is why some people, and the tendon insertion. So this is why some people are just really good at arm wrestling. There was a friend of mine, he's actually married to my cousin now, lives south of me a little bit. We used to go to, like, I don't know, parties when we were younger, and we would always arm wrestle. And I was fucking jacked at this time. And he would pick on me because he knew I was jacked. And he'd be like, let's arm wrestle. And I could not beat this guy. And I was way bigger and stronger than he was. And he kicked my ass every single time. And he knew he was a good arm wrestler because along the way, he kind of realized that he had the necessary physiology to be good at arm wrestling. Body proportions, tendon insertions, stuff like that. So, a lot of that's determined by your genetics. I have another friend who's like a competitive arm wrestler. He's not very big. He might be 190 pounds. Just good at arm wrestling. What? A study found that protein consumption increases farting. I conducted the research. Would you agree with my discoveries? Yeah. Do we need research to conclude that? I think we all know that when you eat a lot of protein, the side effect is increased exhaust fumes. We'll put it that way. Can you tell right away by looking at someone if they have great genetics? They'll look muscular even if they're skinny fat, or maybe they can't even look skinny fat to begin with. Oh, yeah, you can tell right away. They will not be skinny fat to begin with. People who have great muscle building genetics are muscular before they ever start training. I was one of these individuals. I tell the story all the time. I broke my collarbone. I was 13. And I went to the orthopedic surgeon with my father, and I had to take my shirt off to check my collarbone. And the orthopedic surgeon was impressed with my muscular development at 13. And I had never lifted a weight in my life. That's how you know you have really good genetics. You will not, if you have really good muscle building genetics, you will be muscular no matter what. This is true. Yeah, The Rock would be better. I need to avoid, they've been taking down YouTube channels. Isn't that fucked up? So I'm even afraid to say this guy's name. Jay Vincent for president 2052. Man, I am way too politically incorrect and controversial. They would, the country would have half of the country would have an absolute uproar because I would just say shit. I'd be like Trump, but smarter. The problem with Trump is he kind of talks like a dope, but I would be aggressive like that. He would get you. All right, this guy is selling you lies. Hey, what am I selling again? Selling you lies. Okay. Well, why don't you take your tampon out of your twat and tell me what I'm selling again and what lies are? Because I made a multi-million-dollar deal on my supplement line, which made me a multi-millionaire. I'm not selling shit, and I don't care to sell anything. So what am I selling you? You're just a pussy. Anyway, listen, if you're going to come here and say some shit, you're getting the smoke. Let's see. I'm going to go a couple more. I got a coaching call soon. Fiber makes you fart. Yeah, that's true. Is it okay to finish one set and then wait to catch your breath before you go on another muscle group? Yes. Yo, for a minute, if this guy comes in, again, I want you guys to pick on him really hard because this is the thing I don't like. So my whole purpose for doing this is to prevent you people from being scammed. That's the point. And this douchebag says I'm selling lies. I'm not really selling anything. Like I said, I made a multi-million-dollar deal on my supplement line this week. I have no incentive to sell anything at all ever again. Why am I sitting here right now? Why am I doing this? Am I doing this for money? Apparently not. Why am I doing this? I'm doing this to provide you with good information because I want you to have good information. But a weak, sad, pathetic beta male like this comes in here and says, I'm selling lies. What am I selling you? I don't need your money. Like, okay, yeah, when I'm doing a live stream from my fucking 90-story condo, okay, yeah, what am I going to sell you? Doing it for free. Jesus Christ. All right. What else? Is it okay to finish one set? Yeah. Can you collab with Alex from Playing with Fire? Yeah, I could do that. Yeah. John Anthony seems to like his content. Did you party a lot in college? Of course I did. Who didn't? Skinny fat cure. I'm thinking mostly resistance training. Absolutely. You got to add muscle and reduce body fat. Well, you're really going to want to add muscle because the reason you're skinny fat is because you have no muscle. Jay Vincent forcing everyone to do hit by law. I don't give a shit what you do, honestly. You could do fucking Pilates for all I care. I'm just showing you the most efficient, safe way to do this. So that way you can all be in shape and not die by the time you're 72. Wow. Excuse me for giving a shit. Let's see. You said hard gainers should have more carbs. What ratio carb, protein, fat would you say is good? First, get your protein intake. So that's going to be, if you're overweight, if you're fat, it's going to be about 0.8 grams to 1 gram of protein per pound of target body weight. For instance, if you're a 250-pound man and your healthy target weight is 180, you want about 180 grams of protein a day. Carbs and fat. So then just between the two, then I would probably go, so you're a hard gainer, right? Get 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, even a little more is fine. Then I would say like 300-400 grams of carbs a day. It depends on your weight though. So Johnny J, tell me your weight. I could help you better. This is, that's the thing with a lot of these questions. It depends. A lot of times it depends. Yeah, this is true. Jay-Z Davis. Like, I'm sorry that, you've done nothing in your entire life, but to come on here and tell me I'm selling lies, that offends me because I have no incentive to sell anything at all. I do this out of the kindness of my heart because I want to help. I don't make money off of this. I don't need money. What are you talking about? Yeah, so guys, keep this in mind. I'm doing this to help you. I don't need your money. I don't need anything. I certainly fucking don't want any I don't want to become YouTube famous. Not a bit. I don't want anybody knowing who the fuck I am, honestly. But I'm doing this to help. All right? So if you're going to come in here and troll me for trying to help you for no fucking reason, my God, kidding me? I could be outside driving a Porsche around right now, but we're playing with my dog. All right, let's see. Yeah, this is good. If you can't, if it's hard for you to count the reps, you could just get a little clock and set it up in front of you and just count the time. All right. Wait, 6 feet, 170 kilograms. Okay. I thought this said 170 kilograms. I'd be like, dude, you need help. Okay, 6'1", 170 or 70 kilos. All right, so you're going to want about 150 grams of protein a day. And I would say 300 to 400 grams of carbs. I think that'll help you as a hard gainer. We're going to do like 2 more because I got to get on a call soon. Can I lift weights with tennis elbow? I wouldn't because tennis elbow is an overuse injury. I would let that heal completely. What I would do is if you had tennis elbow, you could do exercises like a pullover. I wouldn't do a chest fly either. Honestly, if you had tennis elbow, I would just train your legs for a while, allow the tennis elbow to heal because it's inflammation in the joint. So if you get enough time, it's gonna heal. I would not train with it though. Or, you really could do time static contraction with tennis elbow. Yeah, that's what I would recommend. I wouldn't lift weights with tennis elbow. I would do timed static contraction exercises for sure. Save me years of wasted time. Would have lost trying to learn to gain muscle effectively as opposed to almost all other channels. The results, exactly. Thank you for saying that. I mean, I get emails all day, people who've tried this and it worked. So, no, I'm not doing transformation photos. I'm not doing all that gimmicky bullshit. Here's the thing. I'm going to provide the information. You can use it or you cannot. It's up to you. You're selling a bad program trying to convince these kids it's effective training based on BS. Okay, give me some evidence for that. Jay-Z did. You know what? You're probably that dude from my Instagram who was trolling. Yeah, let's see a picture of you, dude. Let's. How many people have you trained? Okay, because I've trained about 20,000 sessions. Okay, so if what I'm selling, keep in mind I made a multi-million-dollar deal on my supplements this week, so I have no incentive to sell shit to any of you. So if what I'm selling is bad advice and a bad program, why is Elliot Holmes doing it? Why is Elliot Holmes doing it? I just debunked the BS spewed early on muscle protein synthesis. What BS spewed? No, what BS did I spew? You're just a So here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing, Mr. Davis. Men are in competition with one another. That's the reality of, all right, this is done. Men are in competition with one another, okay? For status, women, finances, all that stuff. JC Davis, you're probably jealous because I have all of that and you don't. So it's much easier for men, rather than make themselves better, to attack other people because they're too much of a pussy to improve themselves. So think about it. It is 12:18 on a Saturday, JC Davis. You could be doing something productive with your day, improving yourself. Maybe you have kids that you don't give a shit about. You could be doing something productive. Instead, you are sitting in this chat talking shit because you're a loser. You're just a loser. Don't you feel like a loser that you're trolling a chat room? This is easily proven wrong and half those. Okay, well, show me stuff. So you're just making blatant statements with no evidence and sitting in a chat room on a Saturday like a loser. Just trolling. What are you getting out of this? What are you getting out of this? Nobody believes you. Nobody cares about you. Nobody even knows who you are. Nobody in the world knows who you are. What's easily proven wrong? Tell me. Maybe the 20,000 personal training sessions I went through? Maybe that? Yo, that's what I do. I mean, you're right, dude. Like, it can't possibly work. You guys are familiar with this magazine, right? Yeah? Right. What a faggot. Jealous of what? I just spent an hour listening to his stuff. So is good. Okay, what is wrong? Tell me what's wrong. You are jealous. Why wouldn't you be? Because you're trolling by saying things with no evidence. Tell me what's wrong. Let's debate. I love to debate people because I'm going to rip you apart. Tell me what I said. Tell me what was wrong. And I'll explain it to you. Tell me what was wrong. I'll wait. I got 10 minutes till my next call. JZ Davis, tell me what was wrong. Oh, I think I'm going to have a call-in show. And if these trolls want to debate, tell me what I said was wrong. I look the same as this guy, not bigger, but small. You don't look the same as me. Oh, not bigger, but small. Yeah. You're probably small. And the reason you're small is because you're doing everything wrong. Why don't you try this? Just try it. What do you got to lose? You're small. You're always going to be small. Just try this and then come back to me. But here, no, let's do this. Let's do this. Tell me what I'm wrong about and I will explain it. And if I'm wrong, dude, I am happy to admit that if I'm wrong, but I've supervised over 20,000 fucking personal training sessions. And I have the records, the body measurements, the body composition of all of them. So if I'm wrong, that's a pretty goddamn long experiment, dude. It's a long experiment. What incentive do I have for spreading wrong information? I made a multi-million-dollar deal on my supplement line this week. Do I have a monetary supplement or a monetary incentive for spreading misinformation? No. Do I want attention? Hell no, dude. I don't want any attention at all. So what benefit do I have sitting on here on a fucking Saturday in Florida for spreading misinformation? What incentive do I have? My poor dog here, he's laying down here bored as shit. I should be outside playing with him. But I'm doing this for you guys because I want to spread misinformation. Well, JC Davis, I really hope that your lack of fulfillment doesn't hurt you any longer. But I think if you are so unfulfilled and small, rather than arguing and trolling my live stream with fucking 37 people in it, go do something, bro. Go to the gym and do some volume training. Because if volume training works, shouldn't you be there right now? If volume training works, you should be there right now. So apparently you don't believe in volume training because you're not there right now. Anyway. All right, so I gotta hop on another call. But anyway, I had a lot of fun. Making fun of JZ Davis. If you come in here and troll me without a good debate, I'm just gonna hit you below the belt. I'm gonna hit you so far below the belt, your grandfather's balls are gonna hurt in his grave. That's just what I'm gonna do. So sorry, I'm not a nice guy. Anyway, I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys later. I'll do another one of these soon. Keep the questions coming on Instagram.